How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. A year ago, we had a very similar setup to how we look right now, and we had a huge move in February. I want to go over what happened a year ago, what looks like is going to happen over the next month, also go over some big things that are happening this week that will definitely drive the market, and some news from the last few days. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. If you want to trade crypto, there are links underneath the video to BitUnix, to Weeks, and to Blowfin, CoinW, and BTCC. There are a lot of good exchanges out there, which is why I'm partnering with a handful of them. And they are giving you extra bonuses, lower fees, all kinds of things for using my links. You know, I've had a couple of people ask me what exchanges I like. And honestly, I use all 5 of these. So you can kind of pick out which ones have the features that you like. But they're all slightly different with slightly different crypto. So I would suggest having maybe 2 or 3 different exchanges that you have access to if you're interested in trading. Now, one other thing, our Patreon's been growing like crazy. We've been getting a lot of members. We're actually going to give away a free membership. We're going to pick a video, and there aren't many spots left either. We're going to pick a video in the next day or two, and the first comment, we'll say one of the comments in the first 5 minutes of the video will get a free membership. Again, you have to comment on this video, and then you also have to go subscribe to Crypto Joe. I'll leave him linked underneath the video. He is running the Patreon with me. He's been in the market for over a decade and just started a YouTube channel recently. He's talking about XRP, SUI, and Bitcoin. So if you want to go follow his channel, subscribe, and just, put on the bell notification to my videos as well. Hit subscribe, and then you can see when I post a video, you can comment, and we'll pick a winner. Like I said, we'll pick the winner in the next week or two, but it will be for a video in the next few days. I'll mention it in that video, but yeah, but definitely do all that if you want a free membership. Now, Bitcoin. It's at $102,218. A lot of people are thinking, wow, this has been super boring. It hasn't done anything in a while. But look at this. If you look at any of these metrics, 5 days, 1 month, 6 months, they're all green. I mean, this 5 days really isn't green. It's been basically sideways over the last 7 days, but 10% up in the last month, 60% up in the last 6 months. Year to date, even, it's up 10%. Over the last 1 year, up 137%. 5 years, 1,000% max. Obviously, it's insane, right? It's up 22,415%. And Bitcoin had a very similar setup last year around this time. If you remember, all of December and the beginning of January, we were waiting for these ETFs, these Bitcoin ETFs to be approved. And it seemed like it was getting more and more likely. Keep in mind, there was a run up as well from, 26,000 in October all the way up to December 5, actually. We had a massive run up to about $44,000. Okay, so I mean, this is a big move right here. We had a 70% move. And then for the next 2 months, we had some volatility to the upside, to the downside. But 2 months later, a little bit more than 2 months later, we were still at the exact same price, 44,000. So we went sideways for 2 months, even with the ETFs getting approved halfway, then a spike and then a dump. Then it took us a little bit of time to get right back. We had one of the most fundamentally bullish things to ever happen for the price of Bitcoin happen, and we actually fell down after, and then took a little bit of time to recoup these losses, and then we went on to new all-time highs. This is from December to February. Now let's look at what's happening right now. We had a massive move running up ahead of the election, or actually right after the election. Let's go from here to the top. We had 107% move. Beginning of December, though, right around, let's say, December 5, right? We were at 99,000. We went to a peak of 304,000. Now, about 2 months later, we're at the exact same price. Okay. If we have another similar move from February, let's just scroll in here. From February 1 to March 14, we had a 76% move. if we had the same thing now, we'd be sitting around $180,000. I'd be okay with that in the next couple months. And this is again when some of the most fundamentally bullish things have happened recently, like in the last 2 months, right? Trump has become president, whether you like him or not. He's very pro-crypto as opposed to Biden or Kamala Harris. We also have a handful of other things happening, like the strategic Bitcoin reserve being studied. We have SEC regulation changing. They basically said, hey, we're not going to run choke point 2.0. We have the SEC 2.0. So like they're nodding at the fact that they know about choke point 2.0. They're going to actually try to provide regulation that benefits the industry. We have the cancellation of SAB 121, which allows banks now to custody Bitcoin, which is really bullish because then large institutions are more willing to buy Bitcoin. We also have tax changes which allow companies to show not just the losses of Bitcoin, the unrealized losses, but also the unrealized profits of Bitcoin as well. So a lot of things have fundamentally gotten better for Bitcoin, but yet the price hasn't gone anywhere in the last, month or two. Sure, there's been a little bit of volatility. There's been a lot of good news, but the price hasn't gone anywhere. And some people say, well, what the heck is happening? Well, you have to remember, there are a lot of entities that are swallowing up Bitcoin right now. It doesn't always affect the price in the very short term, right? But it eventually does. It eventually moves the price. You can see the last year, we've just been swallowing up so much Bitcoin. The ETFs have been buying a lot of Bitcoin. There's been one negative month is all. Last month, 50,000 Bitcoin were bought up by ETFs. 31,000 was just from BlackRock. I mean, they've accumulated more than half of the Bitcoin that the largest holder in Bitcoin has in a year. They've been able to accumulate 576,000 Bitcoin. That's more than any other ETF. I think it's just below Binance and Satoshi right now. They've been buying a lot. Obviously, MSTR's bought a lot too. They've bought, oh, look at this. Is this right? Let me know down below in the comment section. I believe it is. 218,000 Bitcoin since November. So November, 1 month. December, January. In 3 months, they bought 219,000 Bitcoin. They just bought recently 10,000 Bitcoin, 11,000 Bitcoin. So they're buying a ton of Bitcoin too. They bought actually more than I bet over the last 3 months. They've really accelerated their buys over the last 3 months compared to any time in their history. El Salvador's buying Bitcoin. They bought 5 Bitcoin. Not a huge deal in terms of pushing up the price of Bitcoin. Like this little bit of buying isn't going to push up the price, but it shows that there are nations out there that are dollar cost averaging, and this works out over the long term. And we just talked about the future catalysts. Keep in mind, there are a lot of big things happening this week for Bitcoin. First of all, last week we had inflation, we had PCE. It came in pretty much at expectations. That is half of what investors are looking at right now. The other half is employment data. And we have a lot of employment data this week. We have job openings on Tuesday. We have ADP employment Wednesday. On Thursday, we have initial jobless claims. And then Friday, we have the unemployment report and unemployment rate. The expectation is 4.1%. I think we really want it to come in pretty much at expectations. We don't want much above and we don't want it much below. The reason for that is if unemployment rate, let's say the unemployment rate comes in much higher than expected, well, then people are going to be worried about the economy. If it comes in much lower than expected, people are worried that the Fed's never going to lower rates because they're worried that if the unemployment rate is too low, then it could lead to future inflation, which could cause the Fed to actually have to raise rates down the line, which is one of the big fears of the market right now. So we just want it to come in at expectations or just right around expectations. Keep in mind too, we do have some big earnings this week. We had a big earnings week last week with a lot of big tech companies, but that's the case this week too. We have Palantir announcing after the close of Monday, which there are a lot of big Palantir retail investors out there. We have PayPal on Tuesday, AMD and Google on Tuesday after the close. So those are going to be massive, obviously. We have Uber on Wednesday, and that's really the biggest earnings of the day, I think. Then Thursday, we have Amazon Okay, so we have a lot of the big tech companies, ad companies, retail stocks, probably the two biggest retail companies outside of maybe like Tesla, PayPal, and Palantir. So it's going to be a very interesting week. We have so much big employment data too. Overall, fundamentally, Bitcoin's getting much stronger, but price can be suppressed over a short period of time. We're continuously seeing some of the exchanges suppress price. Actually, let me pull this up. Marty Party shows update. Binance sends 20 million BTC to Wintermute to flush deeper. They want these new late 50x longs, the lines, and will test for the 25x leverage blue lines. Last blue line is 100,500. So don't be surprised if we just fall down to the same price that we've been at a couple times, this $100,000 mark. If you want to know what I'm doing in the market, you can join the Patreon. We talk about all kinds of things all the time. Like I said, follow the channel, hit the bell notification, comment in one of the upcoming videos, and you can be entered to win a free month of Patreon. Also, go follow Joe's channel. Great channel. He's been around for a long time. Good info. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Again, if you want to trade crypto, there are links underneath the video as well. And I'll see you all in the next one.